Hello friends and neighbors, welcome to Gentry Vintage. I'm Josh, your host. I hope this video finds you well. Well, as you may hear or not hear, the cicada invasion seems to be coming to an end. I'm not really sure what's going on. We didn't really get a lot of cicadas. It's very interesting. About a mile down the road, maybe, it is just so loud you can barely hear yourself think. I know out where Pallet and Piper lives out that direction and everything, and they've had them pretty bad too. But around here, we haven't really had them real bad. I started noticing about this time last week, we started hearing some in the trees and so forth. Not a lot, and I thought it'll start ramping up over the next couple of days or so, probably. It really didn't. And it's about 85-ish today, and lower humidity, which is kind of nice. It feels pretty good outside. But I hardly hear any cicadas now. It's like they just call kind of, I don't know what's going on. I was under the impression that we were going to have this huge cicada outbreak, and it was going to be just annoying. I don't know, but they don't bother me though. I'm kind of disappointed in a way. The wife's not, because she's terrified of bugs. So that was just, she was just already getting anxiety about that. But I don't know, in a way, I was kind of looking forward to it. It's, I don't know, part of nature. 17-year cicadas, whatever, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. Not sure what's going on there. Well, I'll get into what I'm smoking here in a minute. What in the world did I just do with my darn... Oh, right there. Before I get into what I'm smoking, let me tell you just a quick little bit about my ride home from work today. So, if you're new to the channel, or you just don't pay much attention to what I say when I babble, being visually impaired and unable to drive, I have to rely on the public transportation system here, specifically the paratransit division of it, which is for people that are either elderly or some type of disabled. And it's a door-to-door service, and they have their own vehicles, and they also contract with several other transportation companies, you know, medical transportation and so forth, cab company. And it's shared rides, so you're not always getting picked up and going straight to work or straight home from work or whatever. There might be somebody else in the vehicle, or you might stop and pick somebody else up, and you might pick somebody else up and drop that person off before you go, depending on where you're going. But I come out of work today, and my cab driver was already sitting out there, and you don't usually know who you're going to be riding with unless you get dropped off somewhere and they see on their manifest that they're going to pick you up later. They might mention, hey, it looks like I'm going to be picking you up later. But that's kind of rare. And you might sometimes have drivers that you get on a specific day and you kind of get used to their schedule. But I thought something was touching me in the back. Anywho, so I come out of work today, and there's a cab driver already out there for me. And it was a kind of a young Hispanic gentleman, very nice, a pleasure to ride with. I've rode with him probably 3 or 4 times over the past couple months. He's, I believe, kind of a newer driver, but a very nice guy, very polite, and if you've had to ride with some of the drivers that I've rode with, you would understand why that stands out to me. Some of them are just, yeah, I won't even get into that. It can be an adventure. But anyway, I get in the car, and there's a young girl in the back seat who had just got off work from somewhere. I didn't ask. I got in the car, and I didn't know that she was on the phone. She had a hoodie on with the hood up and everything, and apparently had earbuds in. But I get in the car, and I just said hello to her, just trying to be polite. And then I realized she was on the phone, and she says, I don't know when I'll be home, and I'm going to be the last one dropped off. Who knows what time it's going to be? This is ridiculous, and I hate this, and blah, blah, blah. Just running her mouth. And I thought, oh, she's pleasant. But, and she said, well, I'm going to get off here anyway. She said, this fool get up in the car and just start running his mouth like I ain't even on the phone. And I started to say something, and I thought, no, I'm just going to leave that alone. But anyway, I didn't say anything. She got off the phone. I didn't say nothing. So we get going down the road. She's got her window down. And we go to get on the interstate, and the driver rolls the back window up and turns the air conditioner up. Whoa. I guarantee if he'd have known what was going to come when he did that, he wouldn't have done nothing. This girl just flew off the handle, cussing and carrying on about how she'd been freezing at work all day, and she wasn't going to ride in a car that was freezing. And keep in mind, I work in manufacturing. I'd come out, and I'm still sweating from working. And I get in the car, and it's kind of nice, the air conditioner, and I was like, oh, yes. So she's throwing a fit and talking about how she wasn't going to put up with the air conditioning, and once she got out of the car, you can turn the air conditioner on, and if you'd have just dropped me off before you go picking other people up, we wouldn't have this problem and this and that. And, he's trying to be professional and not, get her any more upset or anything. And I'm just sitting there trying not to get involved in all that. But, oh, my goodness. So I got so hot to the point, we going down, he rolls the window back down and turns the air off. And then he turns the air on just kind of low. And she just starts flying off the handle again. So he rolls her window back down. And we're going down the interstate, whatever. Next thing I know, I guess she didn't like the wind. So she rolls the window up. Like I said, I was already sweating when I got in the car. I was just burning up. I'd been working. And so I get to the point, and we get off the interstate. We pull up at a hospital to pick up this elderly lady. And I thought maybe she'll get in and say something about it being too hot. Well, I was wrong. Apparently, she's one of them elderly ladies that likes it hot. Oh, so we get going down the road, and I was sitting back there. I start sweating more. And next thing, I'm starting to get nauseous, and I was getting ready to say something to her. I was about to say, something's got to happen here. You're going to roll this window down, air's coming on something, because I'm going to get sick. And I guess the driver, I don't know if he was looking in the mirror or if he was feeling the same way as me, but next thing I know, he leans across and shuts all the vents on the dash, and then he turns the air on full blast, and it's just coming out the vent. I'm sitting behind the driver, and it's the air's coming out the vent closest to the driver's door, full blast. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I think he was feeling the same way I was. Either that or he thought I was going to pass out or something. But come to find out, this girl was not the last one to be dropped off. She was next, and she barely let the car even stop before she dove out of the car and slammed the door. Woo, I tell you what, some people. And, I say all that, and it's possible that she may have had some type of autism or some type of mental delay or something. That's why I tried not to say anything, because maybe she couldn't help it. But, man, she was just rude. Cussing the driver. He's a really, like I said, really nice guy. And always tries to be very accommodating and just polite and everything. But I felt bad for him. And she gets out of the car, and he goes, whew. I said, yeah, I know. And as soon as he did that, he turns the air on, flips all the vents open, and he started apologizing to me. And I said, no, don't worry about it, man. It's not your fault. And I said, I get it, And he said, my friend, he said, my car say 87 degrees. He said, it is so hot. I said, I know. I said, it's good now, though. I'm hot, you're hot. Now we can cool off. And we started laughing about it after we started going down the road. But, man, she was just a handful. But like I said, it's possible she could have had a legitimate mental delay or something that, I don't know. She did not appear to be physically handicapped in any way, or physically I hate the word handicap, physically disabled or anything, but I don't know. Sometimes you don't know what somebody might be having going on. I'll tell you what's nice. Sometimes I get to ride with some people that are older. Sometimes they're veterans that are going to the VA, or people that are older and, they might be going to dialysis or something. But you meet a whole lot of different people. Some people like this girl that you just don't really want to be around. But then you meet some others that are just kind of fun to talk to, and it's nice to meet somebody. And I had a guy I rode with recently. He was a veteran, and he had a prosthetic leg that was kind of new, and he was. I think we picked him up from a prosthetic doctor or something. I'm not even really sure. But anyway, he got in the car and started talking to me, and somehow we got on the subject of all these different restaurants. And man, this guy was like a food connoisseur. He started telling me about all these little hole-in-the-wall restaurants around town and stuff. But sometimes it's nice to, ride with somebody like that. It's pleasant. But anyway, I didn't mean to make this whole video about all that, but it's just one of my little adventures. I guess I'll tell you what I'm smoking now. So today, all right, let me back up here before I get too far ahead of myself. So the 2025 Paladin Piper Codger Challenge got me interested in trying to do some blending. And interestingly enough, I still have my Codger Challenge blend that I made some more of that I keep in the living room by my chair on the little shelf thing next to my chair. And I still from time to time pull out load up a bowl of my Codger Challenge blend, Southern flavor, and I enjoy it. I still enjoy it. I smoked it exclusively for an entire month, and I still enjoy it. It's not something I'm going to smoke every day, but like the other night, I was sitting there and I was trying to decide what to smoke, and I thought, what do I want? And then I remembered that jar was sitting there, so I thought I hadn't smoked this in several days, so it was kind of refreshing. But it kind of sparked the interest of wanting to try to create my own blend or blends, or just play around with it. And I've been thinking about that more lately, and floating some ideas around in my head of what I wanted to try to do. But get off of me, whatever you are. Oh, there's a fly. Anyway, I guess he likes the smell of this. So before I get any further into blending my own stuff, or attempting to, in my opinion, the best way to go about doing that is to know exactly what the flavor profiles of everything that you're going to use would be. And me being a burley lover, I should have got more, and I probably will. But me being a burley lover, I picked up a 1 ounce. Come on, fly. I picked up a 1 ounce, and should have got more, like I said, of C&D's Cube Cut Burley. I don't know if you can read that or not. Sorry. And I don't know how well you can see it in the bag. But it's just regular old Cube Cut Burley. I don't even think it really says much about it in the description, other than it just says light and dark Cube Cut Burley. But me being a burley guy, I said I want to know exactly. I'll be totally honest with you. Man, this fly is gonna go round and round. I'll be totally honest with you. I've never been impressed with C&D's burleys. I find them to be kind of green tasting, bitter, not a good bitter, but like kind of like when you eat a banana and it's too green and it needs to kind of brown. I like my bananas when they start turning brown a little bit. But I find C&D's burleys to be a little too green tasting. So I was a little hesitant when I decided to try this. And I read some reviews on it and everything. And I noticed a couple people had commented in reviews that it didn't have that typical kind of normal C&D burley taste. So I thought, well, maybe I'll give this a try. And I have to admit, I'm telling you, me and this fly, I have to admit, it does not have that typical green C&D burley taste. I get a very earthy, it's got a little bit of a sharpness to it, but I wouldn't consider it like a green taste. Kind of a bitter sharpness, but that's burley in general sometimes. But it's a very, I get a nutty, earthy, nice flavor out of it. I like it. This is, I think, the third bowl I've had of it just straight by itself. So, thanks to Pallet and Piper, he's sparked the interest for me wanting to try to create some of my own blends. For nothing else other than just my own, fun and my own, whatever. But if I can create something that's really enjoyable that I think other people might like, I'll might make enough to share with some people or something. But for right now, I'm just playing around with it, for myself. But I really like this. But anyway, what I was getting at, if I'm gonna make my own blend, I want to know exactly every flavor profile that's in there, separated. Like I said, the Burley, I want to know exactly if I'm gonna put the cube cut Burley in there, I want to know exactly what this cube cut Burley tastes like by itself with nothing else added to it. If I'm gonna put, just say Red Virginia or something, I want to find a Red Virginia that I like the flavor profile and everything of it. I'm gonna want to put in there. Same with a Bright Virginia or a Perique or whatever it may be. I haven't 100% decided what this first blend's gonna be, but I plan on doing something that's gonna be basically from scratch. I've been really liking lately blends that do not have a topping, any kind of flavor profile to them other than just natural tobacco flavors. I've really been liking that lately. So that might be what we end up doing. I don't know yet. But like I said, if I'm gonna make a blend completely from scratch, I wanna know every flavor profile that's gonna be in it. Thanks, Pat. Now you've created a monster. The wife may not like it so much when all of a sudden I got mixing bowls and stuff all laid out everywhere in jars, and she's gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll make something that she actually likes, so maybe she won't be aggravated. I don't know. But yeah, so I'd probably buy more of this cube cut Burley because I like it by itself, honestly. This is something I could see, not necessarily every day, but this is something I could see smoking a lot. I like it. I've heard some people say that Burleys don't really age, like Virginias when they age they get sweeter, sugarier. The flavor profile will change. I've heard people say that Burleys don't really do that, but I've also heard a lot of people say that Burleys will kind of mellow. For example, C&D's green tasting Burleys. I've heard people say that 6 months of age or so on them will kind of mellow them out a little bit. But this already, I don't know how much age would be on this. It's bulk, so I don't know. But I'm not getting that green taste out of it, and I don't know why I just bought 1 ounce. I pretty much knew I'd probably like it, but I guess I was trying to be careful in case it was had that kind of green taste and it was just not good. But yeah, I like it. Tell you what, Fly, you come on. Cremate you in the air. But yeah, I'm gonna start tasting different stuff, trying to get the flavor profiles that I want, and work on blending stuff together. And we'll see how it does. Come on back over here. Yeah, you scared, ain't you? But anyway, anywho, so thanks, Pat, for sparking that interest with your Cadre challenge this year. I got a couple ideas floating around of what I kind of want to do. One thing I really want to do as far as making a blend is I want to try to create what to me would be the ultimate Burley blend. Everybody has their own ideas of what would be the perfect blend for them. You know, everybody's tastes are different, but I want to try to create what for me would be like the ultimate, the best Burley blend I could come up with. So, yeah, I'll work on that. Anyway, I've done enough jabbering in your ear for today. This video is probably way longer than I intended it to be. So, we're gonna keep playing around with some ideas of blending stuff, and like I said, I'm gonna keep trying stuff straight here so I can get an idea of exactly what I want going on here. But yeah, this straight cube cut Burley's really good. I like it. It surprised me. It was better than I thought it would be. But anyway, I reckon that's probably gonna be it for me today. But until next time, I wish blessings for all and lots of luck to you and yours.